I get dollars, dollars, dollars and flip them and bring them back. I ain't worried about no bills cause my ancestors handles that. I love money, it look for me, attracting me like a magnet. I'm so luscious, so abundant, I want
Let's
it,
go.
then poof I have it.
I love these Danessa Myricks priming products. This is the water powder serum. It is hydrating on the skin and then dries down to the prettiest like satin matte finish. It's the perfect primer for when it's hot and humid and when you just need a really beautiful soft matte type of vibe. I knew I wanted to lean into that because like I said, this is a late 90s, early 2000s look, and to me that just says soft matte. Y'all, excuse the band-aid on my finger. I was having some friends over this weekend and I was playing hostess and I slammed my finger in the refrigerator door and broke my nail like to the quick. So if you were jealous of me or you were evil-eyeing me, congratulations, I broke a nail. That's petty. But anyway, I'm taking the glow serum from Danessa Myricks underneath those eyes to hide those dark circles. Honey, I was at the makeup show in Atlanta recently and I watched Danessa do a workshop on Yummy Skin. She's brilliant. You see, I'll use a lot of her products in here. And she put that under the eyes, and I loved it because it gave that kind of illuminating glow. This is also a Danessa product. It is the Yummy Skin Serum Foundation. And I'm putting it just, you see all my dark spots, and then kind of spreading it throughout the face. I like to go neutral with my foundation as a black girl. Now, hear me out because I know how you girls like to tussle, but I think that we've been matching our foundations a little warm, especially my brown skin girlies, because when I was growing up getting shade matched, it was like everybody wanted me to be NC45 and MAC, and those were just a little bit warm for me. Everyone tends to pull for my melanated girlies all of these really rich, really yummy shades. And it took me a little bit of time of playing in my own makeup to say, girl, maybe you lean a little more neutral. Not yellow, not golden, not warm, but neutral. And when I started trying neutral foundations, it really changed my life because I can get redness in the face like a lot of us, or my face can run a little darker than the rest of my body. But when I start with a neutral foundation, it just balances everything out the way I like. I am a dimension girly. I love for my face to look like skin, which means I have to put all the shadows back that a full coverage foundation sometimes takes out. So you see me going in here with the Power Bronzer, also from Danessa in shade Deep, just to really put back any of those natural shadows that my foundation might take away. You'll see me do a lot of blending, guys, because in my opinion, y'all don't blend enough, and that's why your makeup is clockable. The other reason your makeup is clockable, especially for my bald baddies or my short hair babes, is because you don't put makeup on your ear. My ears are always exposed. I have short hair, which means my neck and my ears are always on display. So I like to take my foundation, my contour, everything, just anywhere that anyone can see it. Just take the makeup wipe over your ears, babes. I promise you'll be okay. I'm doing my concealer. It's the Vision Cream Cover, also by Danessa. This is a Stan account, I warned you. And a drop of the beauty oil. I mixed two shades, just a touch of a peachy shade. I'm not really a color correct girl, but I will add a little peachiness into my actual concealer shade itself if I need. I love a bright under eye. It's like my holy grail. If I just have one thing in my bag, it's usually concealer. Actually, I lied. It's probably lip liner. But then after lip liner, it's concealer. Definitely. It brightens up the whole face and it just makes you look awake. And if you're somebody like me who is very active, I'm a busy dreamer, I can have really intense dreams, or I can stay up if there's a lot of shifts in the energy, concealer is your best friend, babes. Okay, powder. I powder down immediately because you don't want all of that creasing. My hooded eye girlies, definitely there's a lot of movement and folds in the eye area. That includes for me the under eye. So before I go in and bake, I just put a little powder and press it in so we've already got some setting going on. That keeps it from creasing too badly. And I'm a very expressive girly, so I've got to set this thing down. The powder I'm using is the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Powder in the shade Cherry Blossom. And like I said, this look for me is a 90s, early 2000s cool toned, and I follow that theory all the way through my powder choices when I do my looks. I'm an undertones girly, so I have multiple shades of powder. Going back to what I said about foundations, I think we were sold because there were limited options for us in the early 2000s. Yellow under eye. yellow, yellow, yellow. Everything was that yellow under eye, and that was innovative because so many of those powders were making us look stark and ashy under the eye. But a yellow powder isn't always it. Sometimes you need something a little bright. I was really thinking about the 90s and the 2000s when I did this look, and really shout out to the makeup artist of that era, because I know for me as a Black girl, we've seen so much innovation in the shades that are available to us, and there still need to be many, many, many more options. However, when you look at some of those iconic looks of the 90s, I'm talking about what they were doing on Naomi Campbell, what they were doing on Nia Long, what they were doing on Gabrielle Union, what they were doing on Sanaa in the 2000s, you really see makeup artists working really well with formulas that maybe weren't ideal and with shades that maybe weren't catered to melanin and dark skin tones in general. And so some of those looks, even though now we would look and be like, oh, that under eye powder is way too bright, they're just iconic and they shape what we do. And as an artist and a creative, I'm always thinking about how you work well with less. And so shout out to the makeup artists of the 90s and 2000s, because y'all were really doing your thing with very little. The under eyes are baking. Now let's talk brows. Y'all saw me going with dip brow. Now, do you remember when dip brow came out and y'all were drawing on whole new eyebrows? Because I remember. And I'm not anti-drawing on new brows. However, every look doesn't call for that, and every set of brows doesn't call for that. So for me, I like to take a really light hand and just kind of fill in anywhere that the brows aren't giving what I need them to give, and brush through a lot and brush up. I think dip brow still has a time and place, just with a lighter hand. This is Color Fix in Nude 2. I told you, Danessa Stan account. The Color Fix don't get enough love, okay, in my opinion, because people don't know what to do with them. This is Nude 2, and I'm using it as an eyeshadow base and something to brighten up under my brow. If you were a makeup girly in the 2000s, or if you know makeup artists, to me this is giving like what the girls were using Painterly Paint Pot for, okay? Just to give us a really neutral base and to bring brightness to the eye, especially if your eyelid is like mine and it's got some pigmentation. And like I said, the key is blending. Blend, blend, blend. This palette is why I wanted to do this tutorial. It is a new Makeup by Mario Neutrals palette. He has the Master Mattes, which I'm absolutely obsessed with. But this Neutrals palette is cool toned to me. And honestly, I picked it because, as you can see, I'm very into makeup in the way that makeup looks on brown skin, and challenging myself and putting myself outside of my barriers and boundaries. So when I saw this palette, the Black girl in me shriveled up, honey. She was afraid because she said, those are ashy. They're powdery. I just don't know if those are my shades. And whenever I see a palette and I'm like, those aren't my shades, I just kind of take it as a challenge. Like, how can I make this work? And I pull on my archive and I pull on the zeitgeist, and I think about the times that I saw women wear these beautiful, dusty, powdery, cool tone shades. The first thing that pops into my mind is Nia Long in The Best Man. I'm going to put a photo there. I also always associate this kind of gray, smoky, periwinkle eye with Toni Braxton. I'll put another photo of her so you guys know what I mean. I'm thinking of a photo shoot where she was in like a periwinkle color, and some of the things that she did for Unbreak My Heart, or He Wasn't Man Enough. I think it was He Wasn't Man Enough. But that dusty periwinkle blue slate kind of gray eye was such a 90s moment. We saw it on so many iconic folks. And when I saw this palette, I said, that's what I want to do. And I want to put myself outside of my boundaries and really push to try something that normally I wouldn't do. And I'm happy I did. This is eyeliner. It's pretty self-explanatory, but my advice is to get the creamiest pencil you can find, especially if you have sensitive eyes, and go waterproof. I'm a watery eye girl. I don't know why, but it's like always when I go to do my makeup is when my eyes start to water. And so I'm always looking for a pencil that is not gonna budge. And this is the Urban Decay 24/7 pencil in Perversion, and she's that girl. She does what I need her to do. My other advice is, hooded eye girlies, really stay close to the lash line so that it doesn't cover up all that hard work you did with the shadow. Back to the palette, and I like to lock it in again on watery eye girl things, and just to diffuse it with a dark black powder, it just gives a soft smoke. Remember, we're going 90s. I don't want to see sharp wings. It wasn't a sharp wing moment. I mean, you can do it, and I've seen some beautiful looks that pull on the 90s with that sharp wing, but when I pull on those reference photos, it's always soft and diffused. This is my magic trick. Okay, if you're a messy shadow girly like me, take a light shade in the palette. Remember those shades that I was like, oh my God, they're chalky, they're ashy. I'm a black girl. How am I going to do it? Honey, like this, right in the pink powder to line up anything that you were a little messy with. I don't know. It just gives the finishing sharpness. Going in with that same waterproof liner under the eyes. Again, this pencil is really creamy, so there's not a lot of pulling or tugging, which is what I like when I do my waterline. And then back into that palette to go underneath my lash line, just to give it a little more smokiness and to bring the top and the bottom together. I really like a little smoke under the eye. It makes the look cohesive. And I don't know, I just think it's cute. This is Fix Plus Setting Spray, an oldie but a goodie, just to give a little bit of moisture back. Remember, we're going for early 2000s matte, late 90s matte, but not for real. Okay, these lashes I got from Sephora. I'm gonna pop on a little mascara first. It's a Too Faced Better Than Sex, because what else is better than sex except for yummy lashes? Popped on those lashes off camera because I do not know how to do that on camera, but the look is eating. And we're gonna carve out that face with this one size bronze and sculpt situation. Okay, I love how pigmented everything one size is. Patrick Starr really did that. I like to use a fluffy dome brush and a light hand. Some of the things that I love about the 90s are how sculpted the face is. Again, I feel like what we didn't have in a lot of options, we did have in bronzer blush options. It feels like there was always some sort of contour on that cheek. And like I said, you know, I'm down the jawline, I'm over the ear, and my short hair girls know what it is. Going in with that one size blush right here. I love this. Again, the pigmentation is amazing, and I believe in blush all the way up to the temples. That might be a little 80s for this look, but I can't let it go, sorry. I recently released my playlist, Conjure Cuts. It is all of the music that I listen to while I work. For those of you who are just getting to know me, I am a psychic full-time and a music maker. I produce, I sing, I write, and I love music and beauty and the connection between those two things. And so I've got a playlist called Conjure Cuts that really shares my love for those things, as well as a blog. You can check that out on my website. This is the Makeup by Mario liner in dark chocolate. I love it in the Makeup by Mario lipstick in Bronx Baby, a little on the lips, and we're really done. She's a 90s girl, she's a 2000s girl. If you wanted to add a little gloss, you could. Thank you so much for hanging with me, and I hope you enjoy.